moment. Nom nom nom. It's because I've got. It is a beautiful. Let's give this to Loki. Hey Loki. Oh no. How about Max? Max, do you want a stick? Enjoy that. Nom? Nom nom? Okay. Loki's busy having the healthy food. Max is having the ice block. We do it in turns. As a matter of fact, healthy food and not so healthy food in turns as well. What do you reckon? It's like rainbow sherbety flavour. I don't know. It's thirst quenching flavour, I reckon. Ugh. Those birds will make a noise because they can see that I'm doing interesting things. What I'm going to do today, have a look here, man. So much stuff. I've been continuing to sort through my opal. So I've got this opal here. And the general idea, let's flip this around. Right. The general idea here, as you've probably seen for quite some time now, just grab the opal, chuck, grab opal, chuck, grab opal, chuck. And occasionally you see a flash of colour, like that one. It's probably not a good flash of colour. But yeah, and literally it happened as I narrated it, so that was pretty good. But the whole idea of this is that, yeah, this is a very, I'll zoom in so you can see this. Zooming, it's just tough for me to zoom. All right, so let's see, what am I trying to show you? I'm going to move into the shadow here so that I can see, but the opal itself can't be in the shadow. Right, that's a bit better. Now, this thing, wherever the angles are on this opal, you'll actually see a bit of iridescence. But if there's just a flat surface, there's no iridescence. And that's kind of one of the features of these Cooper opals. But that also means if you have a look right where the stuff is, the sand and stuff is, you'll actually see that there's actually a bit of colour. But I'm not going to worry too much about that piece of colour. But this is what I'm doing. I'm just sitting there. And the reason I'm doing this is because the opals are irregularly shaped. Let's have a look. Sorry, I'm just looking through. Trying to bring it up. There's just the tiniest bit of colour in that, which is good. Pop that to the side. Keep going. Oop, hang on. Hang on. There, sorry about that. So, yeah, so just keep doing this in the hope that what you're doing is you're just upending the opal. There's another one. It's not a great one, so far anyway. Let's have a look. I'll have a look first. Nah, not even worth worrying about. And what's stuck to my hand? Sometimes ones that get stuck to your hand are actually good ones. But anyway, so I haven't found some great colour. And that's probably because we're getting to the point of no return with these opals. That's interesting. Now, I've picked out this opal several times. I can recognise it because of that weird right angle cut in it. There is colour in it somewhere. I just can't spot it. But so, yeah, weird. Ooh, look at that. Hang on. What have we got here? It's a very thin one, but we're seeing some colour. Oh, okay, I'll put that to the side. And we're not going to spend too long doing this anyway, because I want to... Hopefully the Americans are still up. I spent a little bit too long just gazing upon my opals whilst I was trying to get the live stream set up today. Didn't get as much cleaning done either. I've just been hopeless. It's been... Give me a break. It's Sunday, lazy afternoon. It's probably Saturday if you're in the United States, but you know, if you're across the date line, it's a weekend at least. For me, I've been just going 90 to the dozen on pretty much everything. And sometimes it's weird. Sometimes if you've got even social goals, I'm not complaining, but you know, you've got to put the time aside for, you know, girlfriends, for example. If you want to keep girlfriends, you have to put time aside. Whoa, there's some. Excellent, excellent. Let's have it. Let's see if I can show you that. Yeah, I'll have to zoom in. You'll see this. This is a good one. Finally. Not the lawnmower, even though great lawnmower. Let's see if we can spot it. Going to go out of the... Okay, let's see what we can see here. See what we can see, because all that we can see. I'm trying to find the spot which colour comes into. It's right there. Okay, we'll have to try and just keep moving this in and out until we get the colour. Wonder if you can see that. So I still can't really see it on my camera phone because the sun's now on it. There, okay. So we move it up like there, okay. Look. There, see that? Got it. Yay, finally. There's your colour. Lovely colour. Lovely colour. All right, that's good enough. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to here. Yoink. So this guy, I'll pop that over here with all these guys. This wheel is on its last legs, but I will keep using that for today. If it starts doing anything particularly severe, I will update it or something. But what we've got here is we've got a couple of the opals that we've done in the last couple of live streams. So this guy here I'll do first because at the moment looks like nothing. I'll try and put it in sunlight so you can see it. Well, trouble with putting it in the sunlight is that I put my phone in the sunlight and then that causes issues. So let's see, here we go. Can you see anything on that one? Possibly not. It's starting to get something that we call rolling flash, and I was quite surprised that this opal was doing anything at all. So what I can do, however, pop this. I'm not going to use that wheel. I'll use this wheel. As a matter of fact, I'll move the whole business over, and I'll try to use. No, I'll try and use both sides. Turn the water on. Yoink. Yoink. And let's go. I haven't gotten the oxide, so I'll sort the oxide out in a minute. Sorry, I'm just grabbing some oxide. Don't need much of it, but you need a bit. Hang on, just. There we go, that's good enough. Sorry, I wish I could show you what I was doing, but it's probably just quicker for me to do it this way. And have it ready to go. Okay, that's it. Oh my goodness, the sun's coming in, so I'm going to just quickly grab something to shade it. Didn't expect that, but I do know that if you don't shade it, eventually the camera's going to explode or something. So you've got to do something. So what I'll do is I'll pop that there like that. That will obscure my view of things, but hopefully it'll make life easier for you. So it's just the kind and generous person I am. Right, so that means that I'm literally using this. I'm using the camera view that you're looking at to polish my opals. It's scary. Let's have a look how I've done. Ah, not too bad. Need to get this bit done a bit. So let's just, we might need the sunlight, so I'll take this off. So if we have a look at this in the sunlight, if you can. Far out, this is tough to zoom in. Right, go. Where are we? There we are. There we are. Right, good. Now, see if I can spot the colour. You see any colour yet? Maybe not. Okay, zoom that again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to very gently work this colour. For the time being, I'm just doing the sides. It's important to make sure that you do all of it, but you've got to just be careful with everything. Now, in case you're interested, this is from the live stream in which I said that opal was good, but nobody who was on the stream themselves could actually see that opal was good. So I'm hoping that this phase is actually going to clarify that little issue. Hopefully, at the end of this, you're going to see some really nice opal. And bear with me, because I've noticed that most people, when they're doing live streams, they never show you this bit. This is probably the most boring bit of all of the opal cutting. Some people really love it. It's meditative. For me, I don't think I have as meditative a mind. Just so you know, guys, I expect just at the first couple of minutes, I don't know why, that some wags come on and they ask some bizarre questions like, you know, how many ball bearings can you fit in your grandpa's underpants or something like that. So be prepared for those questions. Not much I can do about them. I think that everyone's got a right to have a bit of fun and whatever else, so I'm not going to spend too much time trying to ban people for just being a bit silly. Okay, let's see if we've got what we wanted. Look, just go zoom back a bit, zoom forward a bit. There we go. Can you see that? There you go. You can see the colour, except the fact that the screen is now covered in water. I'll get rid of that water in a second. You can see all the colour though. Look at that. Yeah. That's beautiful. Right, back we go. What I'll do is I'll just fix up that screen issue. Should just be about here. I'll just do that. We should be good. Excellent. So let's go and pop this in here. There you go, look at that. Starting to see what I was seeing earlier on. Also, as I just hack a little bit deeper into the opal, we start to get some more cool stuff going on. So I'll do a few of these, and then we'll go back to actually doing the first bit. Trouble is that one of these, I have never claimed to be good at doing something called dopping opals. And to dop an opal is to basically stick it onto the end of this stick with some wax. Hang on, I'm moving all the way. So what was that? Oh, I saw it. Don't worry, it was just my old opal case. There we go. How cool is that? That's quite a good result. I'm glad I caught this twilight. It's not exactly twilight, it's mid-afternoonish. Oh, hang on, I forgot something too. Hopefully this will help too. That will really help with the quality of the video. Right. So what I'm going to do now is bring in second hand in, and I'm just going to gently rotate in what I call a lens grinding pattern. What this does is it helps to make the dome more consistent. I'm also going to just bring, oh my goodness, sorry, that is really bright. I'm just turning I'm I'm turning the drip down a bit. The water's going down a bit, so just to make sure that it's good enough. Okay. This side here. So I was not expecting this one to do much, and it's ended up surprising me. Let me qualify that statement. I was expecting it to do a lot, but I wasn't expecting it to you to see much. What I'm also thinking is, how's the audio? Is that machine just vibrating too much? I'm going to grab a thing and try and muffle the sound a bit for you. Hopefully this will do it. Did that do anything to the sound quality? Did it make it any better? Hopefully it did. So here we go. So what I'm going to do here now is just once again, the lens grinding pattern. Now let's have a look on the other side of that. What's it looking like to you now? I think it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good to me, but I don't know what you're seeing. So I really can't see the screen that way. Oh, there we go. So I'll angle it like that. Yeah, look at that. Maybe angle it this way and that way. We've got some pretty nice colours going up now. Okay, so let me have a look at it in detail. What I'm trying to do is make sure that the majority of the scratch marks are off. If the scratch marks are off it, then I can move it on to the next level of polishing, which is really getting that colour to come through. I've also noticed that I've just got to bring that back in a bit. So I want it to be a proper drop. I'm now looking at symmetry, making sure that the shape is good. Now, you should make sure that the drop's as good a shape as you can get it. But there is something also to remember, that you can laser cut rocks and stuff like that. And you can make synthetic opals. And sometimes they just, cut them out in a machine and stuff like that. So believe it or not, you can engender a bit of trust in your clientele just by having the odd mistake in the shape of the opal. It's very much like those Persian rugs, isn't it? Or is that just an apocryphal story? I don't know. Let's have a look. So, what's it looking like now? Now I'm just making sure that all of the angles are as I want them, because now when I'm the next polishing stage is just going to be polishing. Now there's a little divot that I need to remove, and there's an angle that I need to get rid of, and the middle's not quite in the middle. So these things are all things that need to happen. Just I just got to figure out how to get the middle in, because I'll show you, except it's a little bit harder to explain. I think that's close enough. It's because the bottom isn't quite level. So I will have to do something about the bottom later. We can see a doctor about our bottoms, can't we? Yes we can. What's humour? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop this guy over to here now. This camera. Tell me what you see. Seeing anything good? Don't think you are. Okay, so what I'll do is I will move this over to here. Hopefully it'll work like this, maybe. It may well work like this. Oh, goody. Hang on. Or maybe it won't. Okay, so what I can do, however, is put that there and put this in here. Can't do that. Nope. I can possibly do this. Nearly can do this. Can do that. Yeah, I can. It's a bit dodgy, but I can do it. Alright, so this is the final stage. I hope that the camera doesn't fall. There is a good chance the camera will fall because it's not exactly in a good spot. But hey, I've got this stuff. This is oil, which is basically 3000 grit. So what I do is I get some of this oil and I rub it over the opal, like so. And then I put a little bit on here. It's harder to put onto the sandpaper, so easier to put on the opal. And then what I can do is I can sit here and use that oil, and I'll move over so that you've got some sunlight so you can see what's going on. There we go. I'll do the sides first, seeing it. Oh. So what's on the back here is actually some 1000 grit sandpaper. Now that 1000 grit sandpaper is very old, so it will be contributing a little bit to the overall look of the opal, but it won't be contributing all that much. Now what I'm doing is I'm gradually bringing the opal in to a dome kind of shape. You can see how my arm is gradually moving down. Now I don't have a cab machine as such. These are all just desk sanders you can buy for about $30 US or $40 Australian, I think, from the local hardware store. I'm going to just bring this back so that I can do this properly. I'm going to be doing it one-handed. It's just that the phone was getting a little bit in the way. Now you'll notice that I'm just sticking to the outside, and there's a good reason for that. The inside pad is for something different. This is just the way that I do it. It's probably, I don't think anybody else actually does it this way. Just to keep you up to speed, I've got, basically, I think this is about 300-400 grit. This is 800 grit. This is 1000 to 3000 grit. And in the middle is a pad, which I can use for the cerium oxide. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm trying desperately to keep the opal moving. I'm trying desperately to keep the opal just on a nice curved trajectory. Now you keep doing that, keep the opal moving like this, and you will get yourself a nice little dome. If you keep doing this with the same angle, you'll end up with what I call a newbie shelf, which is sometimes something you can put on there. Sometimes I will deliberately put that on, but a lot of the time I don't want to have it on there. Now the other thing is, you've got to be careful with the angle that you put this opal on at the side, because it's very easy to angle it inwards a bit and it looks a bit dodgy, and it's also much harder to get the sides right. But this opal is looking pretty hunky-dory. Okay, so I think we're about up for the final bit. Now you'll notice that I didn't actually put any water or anything on there. I do have a water spigot right there, but I don't often use it. I do occasionally use it, but I don't often use it. And the reason for that is that the oil serves to lubricate the opal just fine. When I say oil, maybe I haven't explained that. The sandpaper, so to speak, the grit that I'm using to lubricate, to grind this opal, is actually suspended in oil. And so that oil gets smeared onto the opal and onto the sandpaper. And so it lubricates as well, and it doesn't generate too much heat when you do it that way. What I'm doing is I'm being extra cautious with this, because the way I have it, I can actually easily go back a grade and fix stuff up, but it's just nicer to have it all done, I reckon. It's so annoying when you get it all polished and then you go and stick it under the microscope, you find a nick in it. Like, it happens all the time, but it's just so annoying. So although this is the final stage that you're going to see, I'm putting this down here just so that I can pick up this. Now this is cerium oxide. I'm just going to mix it around a bit more. It's actually a very light dusting, but there's a bit of oxide in the bottom, so that's mostly what I'm relying on. But you don't need much oxide anyway. So what I do now is I just squirt that onto the pad here. Pop that back in there. And now we're into the real polishing phase. Now I've seen a lot of people, and I'm trying to remember the name of it's not Opal Odyssey, it might be Opal Odyssey. He's a guy that does a lot of boulder opals, and he delivers a lot of very factual, good on ya, soul of the earth kind of advice. And so I really should, when I remember his handle, I will link him in the description because he needs to be linked. Very good bloke. He only does the cerium oxide stage for, seconds really. I do not do the oxide stage for seconds. I do them for quite a lot longer. And I have various stages. This particular thing is off center, and I didn't mean it to be off center, but I found out that it's actually quite useful to have it off center. Because what it does, the peaks then start to hit the opal where it really needs to be hit. And because it's a pad, it's quite soft. It doesn't damage the opal like other things might. So completely by accident, I found this new way of treating the opal. There we go. Going to learn more about that chat, I reckon. Okay. Not going to start a poll. Nah. It's doing this again. So I'm not seeing the chat. So if you're saying hello, I might have to go outside, grab another phone, or ask my children to quickly log on and say, has anyone said anything? So give me 1 second. So let's have a look at what we've got here. I'll zoom in, so have a quick look. Let's put it into the sunlight, maybe. There we go. Come on. Show us what you're made of. You can see something there. Is it in focus? I can't tell. There we go. Very, very light on the camera, but you can at least see it, which is good. I'm going to have a quick look myself and see if there's any issues that need dealing with. Yes, there are. Firstly, rubbing it down on my shirt. Okay. If we have a look on the left-hand side here, you can see that I haven't actually dealt with the left at all. And that needs to be dealt with on this part of the wheel. So I have to go back. Remember how I said that there's nothing more irritating than having to go back to one of the wheels? Well, that's what I have to do here. I'm just making sure I've got the correct wheel and the correct bit of opal. Yeah, it's quite substantial. Here we go. So just there. That lens maker's circle is what I'm doing. That's what I call it. I don't know what it's actually called. It's just because I know that lens makers used to have to do a particular pattern 400 times, then turn the thing over, do the pattern another 400 times, and it's always a very wide, slow, arcing kind of motion. So you'll need to see by that single one. This is quite deep, so the reason why it was like that is because there really was quite a substantial bit of marking on the opal that I just did not pick up on. See, there still is some there, and I'm going to go across the grain. Across the grain should work. It's not opal, it's something like luxury opals. Belligerent opals, I don't know. But those people, they're good. Well, that guy, he's good. He really did. He delivered some really good advice. And I discovered him way too late. Because I'd already started working out most of it for myself. And if I was humble enough, I suppose, if I was humble enough to listen to the dude, which maybe I wouldn't have been, you don't know, like, we're all different people. You can judge for yourself whether you're humble enough to listen to people. If you don't listen to me, for example, and I've really got something wise to tell you, I'm not going to judge you because I do exactly the same thing. The only teacher I really used is experience. Bitter, brutal experience. Hard knocks. When I could easily just say, listen to the guy who goes, hey, yeah, you shouldn't walk past that line. Just don't do it. So at any rate, presuming I would have listened, I would have gotten some really good advice earlier on. But the funny thing about that is that if you recognise what they're doing as good advice, then sometimes that makes you listen a little bit extra hard later on. So maybe I got onto them at the right time, because maybe I'm listening now where I wouldn't have been listening. And if there's any, listen to me style advice I would give you is listen to everybody, regardless of how stupid you think they are. Stopped clock can be correct twice a day, of course. But the other thing is, they're only stupid from your perspective. The reason why you think their actions are stupid is they might be way more advanced than what you're doing. That's a scary thought, considering some of the idiots out in this world, but I do genuinely believe it. Okay, we're getting this grid onto again. So I'm getting this stuff on again. Just a little bit of it. Right, here we go. I'll try and do this all in front of you so that you can see what's going on at the very least. There we go. So the grit is going back on. This is 3000 grit basically. And I will then go into the whole rigmarole again. Do-de-do-do, do-de-do. So, as the defect that I found was on the side of the opal, so I don't really need to do the top, but I will, because I kind of did a few preliminary little swipes, because if you want the opal to be equal and even all along, you have to bring the rest of the opal down when you bring the problem area down. I'm going to do a brief break to just call the children down so that they can start reading out commentary, because I literally have no commentary here, and I'm pretty certain by now, considering there's been up to 12 people on the stream, surely someone said something by now. I'm sure something's broken. If you haven't talked, that's fine. I'm just trying to hedge my bets here. I don't want to leave people hanging for too long. I mean, I noticed someone's even liked the stream. It'd be very strange if they liked it without saying something. I'm not saying that it can't happen. But I've just got to check to see if I've done something nasty to the opal there. I think I have. That's something that I can do in post. I can fix that one in post. Fix it with paste in post. Just so that you know, the thing that I did actually was affecting the very edge of the opal, so I'm kind of bringing the edge, bringing it right over the edge there to try and solve that. Alright, so the next thing is put opal down, pick up stuff, sweat on. Cerium oxide is this stuff. They call it jeweler's oxide, or I think it's glass cutter's oxide as well. Suppose lens maker's oxide. Let's try and give you a better view of what's going on there. Probably better to be able to do this one-handed. I might try doing one-handed also on the other wheels so that you get the general idea. Because this is a little bit easier than doing it on the big machine. It allows me to do it this way too, because it's really important with the equipment that I'm using. I don't know about everybody else, but with the stuff that I'm using, you've got to be aware of which direction the equipment's going. If I'm going to be going on this side of the wheel, because it's going down, I'll be pointing it up like that most of the time. There are times when I don't do that, but if I go this side, I'm going to be going this way. Now that's not a hard and fast rule. Sometimes I will go like this for reasons, but generally speaking, once I'm into the nitty-gritty, so to speak, the fine bits of the polish, I'm now really concentrating on getting nice and smooth, and that means that I've got to make sure that there's no obstruction, and the easiest way is for it to be directly facing the abrasion, basically. And you can see I'm pointing it forwards as I move it along. Naturally, when you're doing the lens grinder, it sounds like a dance move, doesn't it? I'm doing the lens grinder. Dun dum 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 ba dum da 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 da. Do the lens grinder. But when I'm doing the lens grinding, then there is a little bit of leeway that you have to use. Whoop. Okay, so now it's starting to come off. That's good. Zooming in so we can see what's going on there. There, see that nice colour there? Very, very white opal, but you can see the colours that are flashing around. Now I'm going to tell you what it looks like. Okay, it is a very white opal. It is a very, very white opal. I've just shined it on my shirt. That makes it a bit better. Come on. But there you are, nice little gem there. So because of its look, what I'll do is I think that the opals like this really do need to be considered quality opals. Oh, hello Ian. Yeah, it is, isn't it? What I might do is, if I'm going to sell this one, I might sell it for about $200, which is more than you should sell it for. Or if I do sell it for $200, or if I sell it for less than 200, what I'll do, yeah, it would. I'm thinking of putting it in a ring actually. But if I sell it for less than $200, I will put some kind of certificate out saying it's valued at $200. It's just the way I feel, because this one has just been carefully found in amongst some rough which shouldn't have had anything in it. So the whole process just is a little bit more expensive. So maybe it's a flawed strategy. But yeah, I would say $150 because it's a larger stone. It's probably sitting at around 3 carats, I reckon. So $50 a carat for something like this is reasonable, probably a bit cheap. So yeah, $200. Thanks, mate. I'll put it on Gumtree at some point and we'll see. Or I could send it over to Ukraine. They need sorts of things. Anyway, so yeah, but if you want to do it, Google Cooper PD opal drop shape at some stage. You don't have to do it now. 3 carats. Have a look at, do an image search, have a look at what they are charging for them. You'll find ones with more colours than this will be going for about the $1,000, $2,000 mark. Because this is slightly less colour, I'd be inclined to sell it a bit cheaper. But the colour is there, you can see that. And when people do the photographing, they pull out all the stops. Yeah, so it's nice, and the flash is what they call rolling flash, which is pretty good. What I'll do is I'll do another of these. This was the one that was done at the beginning of last live stream, and I've got another one to do. So we'll pop that one over there, because we'll take that off the... Actually, I'll show you a little trick that I do. You can't do this if you're cutting opals, because you've got dopping wax. I've got leg wax, which is a bit different. What I can do is I can sit there, and I'm just going to push a little bit harder than I normally do, until I see some movement occurring. That means the temperature will be sitting at around 60 degrees, which is what leg wax tends to operate at. There we go. And then I can just pop it off. There we go. It's off. The other thing that I do now that I found is a really handy thing is grab a piece of blue tack, stick that on my thumb like that, then pick up the opal and then blue tack it to my thumb like so. I'm going to zoom back out so you can see. Blue tack it to my thumb like so, and then I'll just go and do the bottom of the opal just like that. Just make sure the back of the opal's doing well. Same kind of jeweler's round, but you don't have to do as much, but you do have to make sure that the back's looking good. Yeah, my weekend's pretty good. I was worried for a little while that no one was actually responding, but seeing responses are doing good. But this is, if you remember the last live stream that I did, that was the first opal off the rank from the live stream, or the first successful one. So I'm going to pop that over there. That's ready to go. I will put on my magnifying glasses and check for defects, but it's pretty much ready to go. So we've got two here that are from the stream. We'll zoom right in. We've got this guy here. I've got this guy. Whoop, we've got this guy here. Now you'll just have to believe me, these are good at the moment. We'll do the big one, why not? So let's have a look at it. Hopefully it doesn't come off the top. If it comes off the top, I'm just going to go on to the next one. Have a look at it. You can see there's a little bit asymmetrical, so I'll have to deal with that asymmetry. I'm not going to go on this one, or maybe just a little bit, because this one is really, really brutal. There are people who would have this on a ring. I wouldn't. I agree with you. Necklace is probably good, or maybe crown jewels or something. But there are people who really love having big opulent stones. This is a big opulent stone, if ever I saw one. I'll zoom in a bit for you so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Nice. Just what I'm doing is I'm just checking the... Can you see how it's not symmetrical? One side is kind of sloped and one side is going up, and I'm deciding now whether to hit it from the side. I think I'll hit it from the side and bring that up. As a matter of fact, I'll go from this side. Now I'm hitting it really lightly here because this is brutal sandpaper. Right, let's have a look at it. Whoop. I've lost you. I've lost you. Where are we? Where are we? Danger, Will Robinson. There we go. Okay, so we've still got a little bit to go, haven't we? We've just got to get this end down a bit. So let's just carefully, deliberately. I'm just angling the proud end a bit. We've just got to be a bit cautious because there is no rule in the rule book that says that opals have to be consistent in the way that they grind. Yep, and still need a bit more. what I might do is I'll just bring that end down a little bit, and then hopefully in the rest of the polish, it's going to end up doing okay. I think that's looking okay. It's a little bit dodged, but it'll be all right. Okay, I'm going to zoom out a bit. Oh, come on. There we go. Now, does that fit in? Good. It fits in. So, this is just slightly less severe sandpaper. It's actually not all that much less severe, to be honest. It is a little bit less severe. It's about 800 grit. That one was between 200 and 400, maybe 250 grit, I think it was. So that one really would, like, that'd take a tank down in a few seconds. Now, one thing that I'm seeing now, even with this 800 grit, is that there's some flash that's coming through pretty strongly. Now, there is some water lubricating this, but not a lot. Just going to feel the opal, see if it's generating any heat. Not a lot. It feels wet, which is good. There are some opals, this one included, you can just feel by the texture of the opal. Some opals you can cook, and if you cook them, they go all foggy, and there's no good. And that, for the people who are Australian, who know something about how opals are marketed, you'll find interesting to know that's because the opal itself is a little bit hydrophane. Yeah, especially hydrated silica. You can imagine someone making that into an ad, can't you? Hydrated silica, get all of your silica needs. Actually, I have a theory about that, especially with asbestos and all that. There's a bit of a, is that a crack? Better not be. I'm just going to go into damage control here. There's definitely something there. We're just going to pretend that everything's okay. It's a defect, it's not a crack. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in, you'll see what I'm seeing, hopefully. See that little spot there? That's a defect. So I'm going to try and gently grind that out. There may be a chance that I'll have to cut this in half if that defect does not come out, but I think it's not very deep. If I remember correctly, this thing did have some sand embedded deep within it. Just after, and we'll do a bit of a highlight reel now. Shoom. Oh yeah, there might be sand in this. Shoom, back we go. Right. I think we're back on speed. As you can see, I've got very advanced digital effects here. You've seen the defect that I was talking about, and so I'm not going to bother. Oh, you can probably still see it. It's still there. This means quite a largish marquee cut. I'm just going to have a quick look up close. If worst comes to worst, I've got a microscope I can look at it with. Yeah, because that's a bit of a vertical line. Not happy with that vertical line. But the good news is I do need to bring that in on that side anyway, so hopefully we're not going to have too much foul by it. Worst comes to worst, we just cut it. It'll become from a 4 carat stone to a 2 carat stone, which is a bit of a bummer considering the brightness of this guy. This guy is not exactly an N7. It's it's not exactly a really, really white stone. It's a slightly dark stone. And that means that any colour, unlike the previous stone that I was showing you, any colour will be amplified an awful lot. So that means that we really do care about the number of carats this stone ends up as. Because it's not a straight line between number of carats and price. There is a exponential, really. I'm just having a look at it again. Sorry about this. For a moment, I thought that there was even worse, some stuff on it. Okay, so the other thing is that if we look at it from this angle, this angle here, you will see that it's actually sitting up on the left hand side and it's kind of curving back in on the right hand side, so I've got to fix that up. It's all very fiddly. I think this is why people don't tend to show you this side of things. But having said that, I'm noticing a lot of the names that are on this channel are people who have been here before, specifically yesterday, so they would have seen the stone being cut. So they might be interested in watching it turn into something really beautiful. There might be a bit of investment in this stone, so to speak. And I'm happy to bring you on that journey. Yeah, so there's really, what I might do is I might move over to here, moving back. I'll keep it, we'll keep it over here, like so. And I'll just get that done with the other, much more brutal sandpaper. Wondering why I don't like using that sandpaper, because there is a genuine risk that I could completely ruin the stone. That risk is definitely real. But the other thing is that it's great that you invest all this time and money into opals, but if you're going to do it professionally, especially, you just can't spend all of your time doing the one opal. You have to draw a line in the sand on how much time you're going to invest, even for the valuable ones. Think about how much you're paid an hour at work. So for me, to spend 2 hours on this opal, it means that I have to be adding $150 worth of value to it. Or else it's not worth doing. Of course, it's not quite that simple, but you get the general idea. Once again, yeah, this has been a little bit snarky at me at the moment. What I think is that not both sides are equal here. I think one side is a little bit more, a bit softer than the other. And I think that's done. I'll show you what I've gotten up to. If you've got a better eye than me, tell me. But I will caution you, I'm going to grind the bottom off a bit. So that on the left hand side, I'm going to literally grind it flatter. So don't necessarily worry about that. Over here we go. I'm just going to sit down and do this. Might have to grab a banana because I'm quite hungry. At the moment I'm just autopiloting this, so I'm actually looking at the phone like you guys are. So I'm controlling it with the same kind of view that you've got. That's alright, because I'm just very carefully moderating my rotation rate to try and get it to be nice and perfectly round. Well, not perfectly round, perfectly oval. How did that work out for us? Yeah, I think that's good. You have a look. It is a little bit lopsided, but I'm not concerned. Once again, we're going to use the Persian rug concept and say that we don't want a perfect stone, we just want one which looks good. And if you weren't there for that conversation, basically there are synthetic opals that you can get, and a lot of them are machine cut, so you don't want it to look too perfect. You want it to look a little bit organic. So even though I will work on getting a lot of this stuff right, I'm not going to work too hard if it looks good enough. And it's not me being lazy, it's just me making a decision on what kind of perfect we're going for here. I mean, if we did invest a little bit of extra time, sure, we could make it absolutely 100% mung bean perfect, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to make it a little bit good. Right, I've got to be a bit cautious on what I'm doing here because the thickness on one side, this is actually a good object lesson for everybody. When you're dopping your opals, make sure you dop them perfectly, because if you don't, you are going to come up with inconsistencies. And at the moment, I am compensating for that slight angle that it's dopped at. And this is an expensive stone. You don't want to be making those kind of mistakes. So I'm just going to very gently do this again. I'm going to go bring it in again. If you don't know what dopping an opal is, it's the process of sticking it onto a stick. And why I'm not actually putting some effort into redoing the dop is because I know something about this stone. It's a little bit uneven on the back. I was a little bit naughty. And I didn't quite do it right. So just got to... So it's not necessarily the bad dopping, it's more the uneven shape of the back. And once again, there's a lot of opal people that will be able to tell you all about these kinds of little tips and tricks. Avoid doing them, basically. Avoid having an imperfect stone that you put on the dop stick. You couldn't blame me when you saw me doing this. I'm just going to wet it so you can see. When I was cutting this opal, I was just so excited and stoked. Have a look at how it's clipping against the sensor. It's because it's that bright. It is really a bright stone. So I was quite excited when I was doing this, and that had its consequences. Wasn't thinking rationally. At the moment, there is something called the sunk cost fallacy that we could be talking about here, but no, I think you'd be right. So long as I know what's going on and I don't go too overboard with the polish, we should get out of this relatively unscathed. And remember, we're trying to make it look luxurious. We're not. It'll already look good. We just want to put that extra little bit of zing into it to make it look really fantastic. So what that means is when this live stream is done, for example, I may well revisit this opal, give it another quick rundown on the machine to make sure it's all perfect. So this won't be the end of things. So I'm just having a quick look at the sides. Yeah, what I think I'm doing is I'm coming to diminishing returns on that machine. I'm just going to be reducing the size for no good reason. So I'll just pop this down here for a second. Trying to figure out how to do this in front of the admiring audience still. There we go. Just so that you know what's going on. Now let's see how my sense of appropriation goes. That's the ability to touch your two fingers together with your eyes closed. So there we go. Once again, for those people who weren't here, I happen to look at my stats, and I know people click in and out all the time. So if you haven't been there from the beginning, this is a paste, which is basically a sandpaper in oil. There we go. So the rest of this is going to go onto the machine here. Sitting down again, because why not? And here we go. First things first, the sides. And this is all very methodical, very careful, because you want it to work perfectly. This thing's got very high sides. I will bring it in a little bit, but the sides are very high, so that means they will be prominent. So if there is a defect on the sides, we're going to know about it. So as you can see, I'm just slowly going through here. Personally, I think this would look really good in a necklace, just like Ian, sorry, not Matt. Just like Ian was saying, should go really well in a necklace. But I can all but guarantee that somebody's going to stick this into a ring. And I have this feeling I'm not going to get the sides all done because they're quite large. Didn't even touch the sides. Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure. This is a bit of a cheat, which means that that if there's a little bit of curve to the sides there, you can still get them with that kind of action. When we start moving to the top of the stone, which we will be doing now, that action starts to become a little bit more crucial. Less of a cheat, more of a real thing to do. I'm totally on you. I'm on your side with this one, Gilly. Yeah, jewelry, it's not actually hard. Once you've got a stone like this will sell. This will sell easily. I won't even have to try. There's a jeweler over near me who will take this stone. Absolutely. But I'm wondering whether I should hold out and get it for a little bit more. The other one, the jeweler will and ah about unless I sell it to him for $50 because he'll be going, oh, the people want all the big colours, blah, blah, blah. And they know full well how much these opals are worth. Everyone's got to make a buck. Yeah, well, it's a bit of a passion. I enjoy doing this anyway. What usually will happen is that I'll wait until tax time or sometime when, like, I haven't got a lot of money, and then I'll just put an ad in Gumtree. $3,000 later, I've sold a lot of stones very cheap. But it's still, you know, it's all a lot of fun. Put it this way, if people on this channel actually made an offer, a reasonable one, I'd actually let them have it for a bit cheaper anyway. It's worth it for the, you know, likes and subscribes and all that kind of stuff. Let's have a look. Okay. Oh, my arm's sore from that one. So I'm standing up, and now I'm just going to do the lens grinder shuffle. Lens grinder shuffle on this end. Lens grinder shuffle on this end. Because it's a much larger stone, I'm having to do it in sections, which is... I don't often have to do this. It's kind of annoying, but also kind of... Yeah, big stone. Got to do this for the big stone. Also, this is sort of a rob from my own back. I should probably buy another sander rather than to cut a hole in the sandpaper and then to put the buffing pad in the center. That'd probably solve me a few problems as well. It'd be nice to have just 5 or 6 of these sanders, each with a different grade of sandpaper. Yeah, I'm thinking that the jeweler that I normally sell a lot of these stones to, I'm not going to sell this one. I might do some of the matrix opals because they're a cheaper style of opal. I object to matrix opals being a cheaper style because, once again, you've got to do a lot of work for them. But this guy, I reckon I could give him doublets and he doesn't care, as long as he got big and, you know, big and spectacular looking. It doesn't matter if they're actually solid opals or not. So when people are talking about the ethics of selling doublets and all that sort of stuff, I don't think it's the opal cutters that do it. I think it's 1 or 2 steps down in that process. It is a good idea. But once again, I think that if, like, there's a bloke who I actually sell a lot of these to, and I sell them to him for cheap. And the reason I do that is because I like the idea of there being a little bit of fat for everybody. Not just the jeweler, but, somebody who's investing. I think for a start, that keeps your clientele going. You have people who will always buy from you. But also, you're being nice to them, and they're going to make a profit too. Everyone wins. So I think that there is this line between trying to make money for yourself and helping the rest of the world out, which you tread. If you end up helping the rest of the world out, you actually end up making more money yourself. That said, this guy is going to be in the thousands. So let's have a look on this side, what we've got now. Let's zoom in. You can see it with me. Okay, that's looking pretty nice. So what I'll do is I'll use the, at the moment we're not seeing very much. I'll make sure that the sides are done. We don't want to commit the same error that I did before. Alright, I think the sides are okay. Have a quick look. I've got a magnifying glass and oh, there's a little bit there. I've got glasses and a microscope for this. Whoops, sorry. That mustn't have been very fun. There we go. Yeah. Well, what I might have to do is I might have to weigh it in front of all you people too. Even if it's not quite finished, I will weigh it and I'll give you an approximate value, because if it's higher than 2 carats, which this is looking like, it's looking like being higher than 2 carats, then we're starting to look at hundreds of bucks per carat, which we maybe even $1,000 a carat, depending on how big it is. It starts to move into mind-boggling numbers. Also very hard to sell numbers, but do what you can. Okay, zooming out. Here we go. Get the cerium oxide, push it onto the pad. Okay, so the oil has made it hydrophobic. I have a solution to that. I've got some soap. If you're hearing any noises, that's everyone trying to contact me. Don't worry, it's not important. I'm just going to ignore them until the stream's finished. Okay. As a piece of curiosity, my father made that chunk of soap. For those of you who are following my story, you'll know that he's very ill at the moment. He was diagnosed with cancer, and he's doing very well. He's definitely not out of the woods. Cancer is a horrible disease, but it's certainly a lot better than I was expecting. Yeah, it's Cooper Petey. Yeah, I know, it looks like Lightning Ridge. You're right. Now, that can happen. It could well be that the person who sold me this, because they were... All right, Mary. Sorry, someone's just constantly giving me a lot of updates. So... basically, sorry, my mind was completely blanked by everything that was going on there. So yeah, basically, because the person who was selling me this was not selling me, high quality opal. Well, they didn't think they were selling me high quality opal. I seem to have a knack of finding good opal in wherever I go. I don't think it's a skill that can be transferred, but please, guys, prove me wrong. Try and find good opal, just like I do. And if that's the case, I'm happy to say I'm wrong. It's just, methodically employing some good techniques, great. But it seems that there's not many people who can do what I do. That's all I'm saying. But because I'm buying the cheaper material, they are they're not necessarily taking that much care as to where its origin is. But it looks like it's mostly Cooper Pedy. And if you saw the rough from last live stream, you saw the rough. As a matter of fact, I've got an example of the rough sitting around. Let me have a look at it. Yeah, it's like this stuff here. It's like this stuff here. That's what it looks like before you cut it. So yeah, that looks very Cooper Pedy-ish. So I have no reason to doubt that it's Cooper Pedy stone. Yeah, it is, isn't it? And this is the second such opal that I've been able to get. And believe it or not, from that rough, I cut this stone off. You know, I made 2 stones. So I've got this stone and I've got this stone here. This will be about a carat-ish, maybe 1.5. So, yeah, I know. No colour. And once I'm done with this, you're gonna have a look at the no colour and you're gonna go, "You're kidding me, right? Are you joking? Is that really no colour?" You wait till the reveal, because this is just an astonishing opal. So I'm just very carefully going through it. Have a quick look through. Actually, it's not that much. Sorry, I'm looking at it myself. Yeah, fair enough. It's not it's, you know, it's not total phantasmagorical, but it's pretty good. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to spend a little bit of extra effort on this one because it is worth the extra effort, in case you hadn't figured that out for yourself. Put a little bit more cerium oxide onto it. Just make sure that we've got a lot more of polishing action happening. I really want that brightness to pop through. I want every part of this opal to be good. Yeah. If you've got an address, I'll send some of this no colour rough to you, Gilly. Didn't cost me any. Well, it cost me something. It like, at the time, my girlfriend said, "Are you serious? They said it's good for nothing," and I said, "Yeah, I'm serious." But at the same time, the price per carat. Okay, at one of the older posts of mine, stick your address in, because that will be a safer way of, you know, distributing your information. But yeah, you can have fun, because I'll give you one of these ones and you will not be able to believe the kind of opal that it is for a bag of no colour. How good is it to be a small YouTuber who still knows everybody and can still do stuff like that? Okay, so let's have a look. Let's bring this over here and we'll see if we can have a good look at this opal. Zing into there. Whoop. Turn that off for the time being. Right. So you can see this guy here. What you're seeing there is, well, it's the camera sensor clipping, because the opal is so bright, the camera sensor literally is not good enough to pick up the color. So it sits there on a white and then it just goes bam, hits you with masses of color. Yeah, that's a good idea. So look at that. That's just absolutely astonishing. All right, what I'm going to do, yeah, it's just an astonishment. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do one final stone, and we'll do the, there we go. Sorry, I was able to just take the whole thing off. I'll zoom back. Just, no, you can see what I'm doing. Just taking the wax off the back. And this time around, because it's one of those kinds of opals, I'm just being a little bit cautious about how I do things. Grab the blue tack, stick it on, and then that soap of my father's. That just makes sure that nothing untoward happens to the opal, because we really are dealing in big dollars now. Let's have a look at the other side of it. By the way, this could be a double-sided opal too, if you remember the live stream. So, yeah, just got to give it a bit more. Cheat ever. Alright, here we go. Alright, so that's coming off. What I'm going to do is we're going to go and weigh this right away. We'll see how much it weighs. I will be disappointed if it is less than 3 carats. Excuse the mess. Right, let's have a look. These are all my opal fossils that I'm dealing with at the moment. My caratometer is over here somewhere. Where is it? It's in here, I think. Please be in here. There it is. Oh, there's another one. We'll use that one, it's easier. My daughter's McDonald hat. Okay, on. So, how much do you reckon this guy weighs? Let's zoom in, have a look at what we're dealing with. Okay, it looks much better than what I'm doing. Popping it on. Oh yeah. 3.5 carats. Nope, 3 point. We'll call it 3.5. Yeah, I do get cheap big mates. We're going to call that 3.5 carats. Sitting there nice and proud on there. Now that is well worth doing. So what do you reckon? I reckon, I'm not going to go 2K. I reckon a fair price is about 1.5. So it really does have a lot of flash. You can't see it in the... I've got to work better at the photography side of things, but yeah, it's certainly getting there. I really like that one. Might keep it for myself. I'm still going. Yeah. The troops are starting to complain. So what I'll do is I'll very quickly cut this last stone, and then we're going to have to end the stream, and we'll say hello to the birds very quickly as well. Okay, so what have we got here? I was going to do a few other things, but seeing we've got complainers, I'll go and we'll just... I think we can afford to take a bit of a risk on a piece of knobby or something like that. We've already cut something amazing. Let's have a look at these guys. Yeah, let's do this one. I'm not going to redo the wheel. I was thinking of redoing the wheel, but we won't. Angry girlfriend. Partner. Or I could do this one here. That was what I used to sell on my website. Found all my website stuff. All right, here we go. Let's just do this one. Come to think of it, I am quite hungry myself, aren't I? So yeah, probably a good thing. I don't know if it's sexist or whatever else, but do you live in a household in which you get the last word, which is yes, dear? Yeah, this one, if this one works out, but I don't know if it will. Let's just carve in, see what it looks like. But it's a flattened knobby basically. I've already determined that, so I'm literally cutting through the white cap. Are you joking? Are you kidding me? No one can be this lucky. No one can be this lucky. Look at that. Hang on, I'm just turning this up a bit. Alright. No one can have a life like this. I swear, because this is once again cheap lightning ridge rough. I'm going to be sickening everybody, aren't I? Just found a guy and he said, oh, I'm going to offload some of my rough because like I've been cutting opals and I've got all this material which has got no colour. Oh yeah, I'll take that. I'm going to tell him what I found though. I think it's only fair. So what we've got here, we may only have a stone sitting in there, but that's good enough, quite frankly. I'm just going to do the back, just make sure that we're hitting the right side, because that's black as black can be. Look at that. Yeah, okay. So that's why it's looking so good. So I've got to be very careful with what I'm doing. So we've got patches of black at the back, and black opal is of course corresponding with the nice colour that we're getting here. Bring that in. So I'd say success. Here we are, it's alright. Nearly there. Look at this. What I need to do is I just need to... Yeah, I'm going to keep this as a picture stone because it looks really bizarre, fascinating actually. Quickly check to see that the birds are and love you and leave. I'm going to say that this is the most amazing opals in the world, but it certainly is pretty good considering. I don't think I have to tell the seller that they've given up a massive stone or anything, because I don't think it's one of those. They'd be happy that this kind of stone came out of their material. They wouldn't be jealous. They'd say it's a fair amount of effort that I've put into it. Okay, there we go. So that's a stone. I'm going to put it there. Very quickly, very quickly. Shh, don't tell anyone. Just quickly have a look at the size. So we want to peek in there. Just a little peek. That's a little peek. I can hear that the collet is really suffering now. I think that they're... Oh, no way. No way, no way, no way. Have a look at this. Let's have a look at this end here. I'm zooming in. Have a look at this end. Can you see that? Can you see that? Oh, I need to wipe that. spin down. Alright, hopefully that'll do it. But can you see that end? Which end is it? It's this end here. Can you see that? Look at that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So just a few more swipes and we'll see what we've got there. Let's put this out here, like so. Here we go. So if that goes away, I'm not concerned because you, well, I would be, I'd be annoyed. But you've got to, basically, you've got to have enough colour to be workable. So, and I'm cutting off this with my useless blade. My vorpal blade is not going snicker snack at the moment. I'm not going clumping back with anything with this blade. The reason why I'm cutting through it is not because I'm particularly interested in preserving the material. That I thought, I still do, it's the quickest and safest way to see what actually is underneath that, because it's just this white grey material. I reckon it's the quickest way just to find out what that is. That was a bit annoying. I accidentally cut through more of it because of the... There you go. Use the right blade. Sharpen your blade when you need to. Change your blade when you need to. Because I could have created a disaster doing that. Most of the time it's like, oh, I was just at the pub with my mates. I was on a live stream. Right, so we've got a black base for sure. We've got the black base, we just need the colour. At the corners we've got colour, I just want to see colour come on in. Do we get colour? Yes, we get colour, we get colour, we get colour. We've got that colour right up there in that corner. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. It doesn't look like there's any colour sitting in the other spots, so we're going to run out of opal before we run out. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I can't expect miracles, can I? Okay, I can see where it's coming from and where it's going. Let's just carve this other side and see if we can do something with that. But I think that's how it's going to end. It's getting very, very thin. I think that I'm probably better off using this as doublet material. Having just said that, because it faces that way. I think it's having a facing issue. Let me try doing that. It's very thin. Don't know what to do with that. Let's just keep going, see what we get. I think it's facing the wrong way, it's very thin, all sorts of problems. Look, I can't complain. I just can't complain. I've had a great run of this, haven't I? I will keep this. I'll turn it into a doublet for something else. Have I got something here? Yeah, probably. What have I got sitting around? I don't know. I'll use that for doublet. It'll be fine. Something will come up. Hey, this piece here, even. Yeah, this piece. Put this piece on, and we've suddenly got ourselves a beautiful opal. Put it all up, see what we get. Thank you. There we go, nice little piece of doubleted opal. So I could do that. Yeah, well, it didn't do exactly what I wanted it to do, but that's okay. I think I'm going to die if I don't do something about this stream. So let us... This ends up being bigger than the rest of it. Look at that. I'll cut that later. There's a tiny little piece of black opal. Alright. Quickly say hello and goodbye to the cockatoos. Hello, Loki. Have you got anything to say for yourself? Have you got anything to say for yourself? Any wise words? Give me a scratch is what her wise words are. I reckon they are wise words. I think she's always keeping her beak shut too. I think there's something in that for all of us, isn't there? Because I actually sliced through that opal a really bad way because the blade was a bit blunt. So yeah, keep your beak sharp. Isn't that right, Loki? Yeah. Keep your beak sharp. All right. Max, have you got any wise words? Any wise words? What was that? Like and subscribe. Oh, okay. What's that supposed to mean? Yes, it's Loki, and this is Max. Yeah, so it's been quite an interesting day's worth of work today. 2 opals, which are definitely worth their weight in gold, so to speak. They would be. Yeah, they would be. $100 a gram is gold at the moment. And Max is currently not as bitey as he was yesterday. In the end, I had a look at my hand. It was bleeding because Max bit me. Yeah. Aye! You did it again. Ouch. Okay, there it is. Is that because of the pin feather? Was it a pin feather? It's okay. The reason why he did that at all was because I hit a pin feather. I'm not going to interact with him because that was a bit too hard. He can just be a bit nicer than that and still get the point across. So, Pony, have you got anything to say? What was that? Comment on all my videos. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Might have to open up a Patreon for injuries. It'll bleed eventually, I think. There you go. I'll send a photo if you're curious. It's okay. Don't blame Max for that. Max is just a little bit too... He's a bit too enthusiastic with his biting sometimes. And we as humans have done far worse to him. Yeah, and I think I really got a pin feather. And there is one pin feather in the middle of his forehead, which I continually get wrong. He's not really upset with me. See that? He's not really upset with me. He just was letting me know that it hurt. And because I went away, I'm letting him know that it's not a good thing to bite like that. So it all works out in the wrong run. I'll zoom in because there's a nice pin feather sitting here. Where is it? There it is. You can see that there. See that? In case you're wondering what a pin feather is, there it is. If I hit the pink part of that pin feather, then he will bite me, basically. See, he's flinching a bit, so I've got to be careful. I am literally the worst person because, like, I'll just sit there and I'll absentmindedly pat them, and then I'll find a pin feather, and like my fingers just want to get rid of it, you know. And you'll hear this awful squawk or whatever else, or get bitten badly, and it's because you've been a bit too generous with the pin feathers. Yeah, so I'm pretty certain it is quite hurty for him. There you go. That wasn't a pin feather bite. That was a you stop scratching me bite. Oh dear. Will I get you some forage from the lily pilly? And then, oh yeah, I'll get some lily pilly forage and then that's it. So, over here. Yeah. All right. So there we go. Lily pilly forage. Got to mop this floor. There you go, Loki. Have some of that. You're looking so enthusiastic for that. Do you want some of that, Max? Do you want some lily pilly forage? There you go. All right. Okay, I think that's about it for everything. If you enjoyed what you saw, like and subscribe on the way out. I had a great time today. It's starting to bleed now. There you go. Don't worry, I'll live. Yeah, see you around, Gilly. Yeah, I know. Max was very much like that. Okay, have a nice evening, everybody. Like and subscribe on the way out if you liked it. And what else do I say? Hooroo, Dr. Phil out. How about that? Bye.